Hey there everybody and welcome to Bits of Board, where we're talking board games, miniatures, cards and dice. My name's Michael and today we're going to be checking out a game called The Networks. Now this is a Kickstarter game from Formal Ferret Games and it's all about the highs and lows of being a network television showrunner. You get to choose the actors, the shows, the ads, everything that's going to make your channel the best. You're going to be scoring viewers every round, and the winner is the player with the most viewers at the end of the game. Let's dive in and have a look at it. Alright guys, so I thought I'd just start off by showing you the score track, because this thing is way too big to be fitting on the camera screen. It's very useful for keeping track of what season you're up to, your turn order, and also it gives you some reference material for, how much everyone's going to be starting with, what happens when they drop and budget, and a reminder of what sort of cards need to be put out throughout the game. Let me just set this back down. Oh no, there we go. Once players have actually made a couple of points and are on the board, this one flips over here and changes the drop and budget for the round, but it does actually complete the score track, which means players will get to be able to do a couple of laps. Once they do complete a lap, they can take one of their player 100 point tokens, just as a reminder they've hit that 100, and if they manage to do it a second time, a 200 point lead. This one here is our 300 point token awarded to the player that actually gets around that thing 3 times. Best of luck to them. But yeah, that's the score track, so I thought I'd show you that one before we get into the nitty gritty. Let's have a look. Now when players begin the game, their TV station is given a small selection of terrible shows to put on air, as well as a fairly useless star and an ad that might gain you a couple of dollars throughout the game. So at the beginning of the game, each player's given a TV station that has 3 fairly terrible shows on, as well as they're also given a star and an ad that might make them a couple of dollars throughout the game. Players will start with a varying amount of money, so in a 4-player game, we've got our first player here. He's got $5 million to start off with, which he can use to spend on his turn. So yeah, that's the player board there. As you can see, each one of his shows are in the first season and are scoring 0 viewers per turn. So yeah, pretty horrible indeed. But let's have a look at his options. So these are the cards that can be purchased on his turn, one at a time. So players could go for a star. So we've got the cult sci-fi actor, the long-time star, serial award winner, sultry, sexy lead, and always dies in everything up there. Each of these guys gives a certain amount of viewers per season. So this guy here, long-time star, will give 4 viewers in the first season of any TV show they're in, 3 in the next, 4, and finally 1 once they start to become quite unpopular. He'll cost, $5 million, so pretty much every dollar he starts with, $5 million to get this one on board, and then will cost $1 million every turn beyond then just to maintain him. Now that's a lot of money, so players have got to make that back somehow, and that's where these ads come in. Now these guys here, when you take them, placing them into the player's green room, they will give you a bonus based on the amount in the top left corner. So this one here, $2 million, and then every season that this is actually playing on your channel, you'll get a further $2 million. So that can help offset the cost of some of the stars out there, which is quite cool. Now then there's also these network cards which give you just like a one-off bonus. They don't cost anything, so they generally go pretty quickly. But yeah, so for example here, this one gives 5 viewers, which is 5 victory points straight up. This one here says play during show scoring to consider a new show as being in its preferred time slot. Now what's time slots? Let's have a look at some of the shows down here. So Earthslug versus Mecha Earthworm. This is the sci-fi show of the century. It costs $1 million to take into the green room, and once you decide to put it on air, you'll actually need to put an ad with it, otherwise you won't be able to play it. Over here we can see 2 values. Now these are the viewers that you'd get. In its preferred time slot as 8 PM, you'll get 9 viewers. If you don't happen to put it on at 8 PM, you'll get still 7 viewers, which is not bad. In its second season, you're going to get 11 viewers. It's hugely popular. But in the third season, You only get one, so hopefully by that third season, you'll have picked up a new TV show to play in its stead. So yeah, very cool. Now, there is a lot to balance in this game. Some stars are going to work best in some TV shows, so there's a fair bit of strategy involved in hiring the right actors, getting the best shows at the right time. Let's go back over to our VCK channel, who've just picked up Cyber Slug versus Mecha Earthworm. So first off, to pay for Cyber Slug versus Mecha Earthworm, our player is going to grab 1 million of his hard starter dollars and throw that away so that he can play this. Now, he can either place it in the green room for use later, or he can play it straight into a slot so that it can be run this turn. So let's say he's going to put it on its preferred slot at 8 p.m. We're going to get rid of Get to Know Your Lower Colon, which is great. Flip that over and we're going to put it into reruns. It's going to score extra viewers based on its rerun value. And then we place this little black cube back on the top section here just to show that it is in its first season currently. Because this one requires an ad to be played with it, our player is going to be placing this sports and hobbies ad next to it. And there we go. So every round, once this one's scored, it's going to cost $1 million to run, but it would also gain $1 million for its advertising. So this one's not going to cost anything outside of that first $1 million for the moment, which is quite cool. So it'll score 9 points for the first season and 11 points for the second season, and then get terrible afterwards. Let's have a look at how the rest of the round might go. Each player gets to take one action and play continues around in the circle. The second time around, the player might decide that he's trying to concentrate on the sci-fi genre, and he'll take Chainmail Bikini Warrior, which is excellent. The next time around, he might try and take the cult sci-fi actor so that he can star in that show. As play continues, the options available will diminish, and players will have to figure out whether or not it's worth staying in the game. Now, there's a bit of a race to get what you want and then bail. With the drop and budget thing down here, players might want to, get out of there early. So say our VCK player has decided they've got enough out of this particular situation. They can choose to drop and budget. Gaining, the first person to drop and budget will gain the $8 million, $7, $6, $5 million for each player after that. So it's a really good idea to get what you want early so that you can get more money to start the next round. During the cleanup phase, all the available actors, ads, remaining network cards, if there are any, there shouldn't be at that stage, and all of the seasons that are out there are removed and new ones are replaced. Now, there's a specific deck for seasons 2 and 3, but all of the other ones will just come off the top of the deck and populate the area. So let's have a look at how our VCK player is going to score this round. First thing you'll notice is that he did take the Chainmail Bikini Warrior TV show and managed to put our cult sci-fi actor in that. So that should score pretty well come the end of this round. So the first things first, we will score the shows that are actually on their slots. So for Cyber Slug versus Mecha Earthworm, the player will score 9 viewers. Now each player's got their own individual score track here just so they can work out what they get each round before translating it into the main score track. So there's our 9 points there. Because he's still got Biannual Country Bubble Wrap Popping Tournament going on, he doesn't score any viewers for the 9 p.m. slot, but it's early days, so it's okay. For the 10 p.m. slot, he gets 10 viewers for it showing at the correct time, as well as an additional 4 for having a pretty good actor with it. So that's 14 extra viewers, up to a total of 23. Players will then score based on their reruns for the season, gaining 1 point for each of those. And then the players have to look at how they're going to pay for everything. So over here we know for our Cyber Slug versus Mecha Earthworm that it's losing 1 million per round, but gaining 1 because of its attached advertisement. The bubble wrapped one doesn't actually cost anything, but over here with Chainmail Bikini Warrior, it costs 1 million and a further million for the star that's on board. Luckily, our player picked up a $2 million advertising deal, has an extra $2 million to play with, so he can actually spend that from the bank. That'll conclude the round, gaining a total of 25 points for the first round. Not a bad start. Not a bad start. After transferring points to the main score track, players will move any reruns into the archives. They still count for any like bonuses, which we'll discuss in a sec, but they don't score any more viewers. Players will then take their cube, moving it onto the second season place. For the sci-fi shows, they get a lot better in that second season, but tend to suck a little bit further out. So this player might decide that it's a good idea to invest in a different style of show, something that's not going to, fall out after the second season each time. Now, throughout the game, players will be scoring based on a bunch of different TV shows that they can get. Honestly, there is heaps, and they're all different. If a player is to get 3 TV shows of the same type, including archive TV shows, reruns, and the currently airing ones, they get a bonus based on their options displayed on the bottom of the card. So for the genre bonuses, if you reach 3 or 5 like genres, gain 5 viewers and choose one of the following. Draw 3 stars, keep 1. Draw 3 advertisings, keep 1, and take money from the other 2, which is very, very cool. If the player's actually got 5 like genres, they can also choose to take 3 network cards and keeping 1 of them. Then, if you've reached 5 like genres, exchange money for viewers at a rate of 4 million for 3 viewers. So if you've got a bunch of extra dollars, they can change into viewers quite quickly. Alright, let's start with what we already know. I really like this game. It's strategic without being overly complicated, and it's fairly easy to learn and to teach as well. It offers a really great table experience. So it's a game where, while being quite strategic and deep, where you have to be planning out your plan of attack for the game, but you're also being quite sociable at the table because you want to know what each and every other person on the table's got going on. And, you're going to be commenting about the crazy, stupid combinations that everyone's coming up with. And I really like that. It's a game that it lends itself to the fun time that's being had beyond the board game at the table. So it's definitely got a place at any gaming night. If you want a crescendo to a light game night, if you want a medium weight, appetizer before you get into the heavy stuff, this has got it. It offers 2 fairly different types of gameplay as well, in that you can have an extremely competitive game going on, or through the removal of a couple of cards, you can have a very light, laid-back game with very little destructive player interaction, which is great, and it caters to everyone. The game offers a surprising amount of options in that all of the different TV shows, all the different stars, all the different events that can come up throughout the game. It's definitely got a huge amount of replayability, and Kickstarter backers got the On the Air expansion, which added the little stickers for the tokens, as well as a bunch of extra cards. Brilliant! This is a game that's going to be welcoming to any expansion coming out because it's just going to be new stuff, new additions, new options. It's great. Components are obviously very nice. The art style, the design of the cards is all very welcome. It's very clean, it's got style, it's got charm. I think a lot of the charm comes from the developer because if you jump onto BGG, I'll chuck a link down the bottom there, but there is a developer diary for this game that showed how it came to be, from the very first design elements all the way up to its final product, and everything in between. And it's well written, it's very informative. If anyone's looking to design games out there, this is a great read. It shows the heartache and the sacrifice that goes into a game like this. If you like solo games, this one has got it. It's very tricky, you've got to keep up with a certain score mechanic, and you're going to be making some very interesting decisions to actually make sure that happens. You don't want to go too well at the beginning, but you don't want to lag too far behind. It's a very nice, balanced solo game. Huge fan. So what's the verdict on this one? I think if you like strategy games at any level, that this is going to appeal to you. If you like a little bit of humor dabbed into your gameplay, this has got it in spades. So it's just a wonderful experience at the table, and I can't recommend it high enough. Go out, check it, play it if you can. It is definitely worthy for any collection out there. So that's about all I've got for you today. If you've got any questions or want to, say good day, chuck it in the comments down below and I will get back to you. Other than that, my name's Michael. This is Bits of Board. Thanks for watching.